So I was preparing for do my Sunday evening ritual, and I thought, hey, you know what? This might be valuable to some people out there. So here's the thing: the way I prepare for an amazing week, the way I get ready for it, is actually it doesn't start on a Sunday. It starts way before, even like sometimes Friday evening. Sometimes it might be on a Saturday, and I would just start preparing, reviewing, thinking about what happened in the past week, past few days, and start thinking about what I've got planned for next week already. So then what starts happening from a Friday evening, Saturday afternoon time is I'll start thinking about, okay, what do I need to do on a Sunday? Do you need to get taken care of? Do I need to read something? Do I need to listen to something, watch something, learn something? Do I need to write something? Do I need to create something? What do I need to do to get me ready for the week ahead? I'll have a look at see what meetings I have ahead, who I'm going to be speaking with, and my team as well. And this is really important. I'm a big believer in you are only as good as your team, and so we get our team at the clinic to prepare themselves mentally as well for the week ahead. So we'll get them to send us information about what their goals are for that week ahead. And so I will read that first thing on a Monday morning. So that's one thing that I leave sort of a little bit last minute, but I've prepared everything else for myself. So, for example, I'll ensure that I've eaten right over the weekend. Now, eating right, first of all, means either having highly nutritious food, but it also sometimes means I just want to splurge. I want to just eat stuff that I shouldn't be eating, but I enjoy eating and it makes me feel good. So I'll do that sometimes. Actually, quite a lot, to be fair. Other things I'll do to prepare myself is I'll make sure that I really stretch out my body. During the week I have long days, so I find it hard to always get the time to stretch out my body as much as I want. It really takes me a good 30 to 45 minutes to stretch everything. And normally during the week I'll do a quick hybrid version of it if I haven't got time, but I'll do something. But definitely during the week, during the weekend, especially on a Sunday morning, I will ensure that I stretch out every single part of my body because I use physical movements. I have physical techniques, and it's important that I am able to use my body to perform the techniques that I need to perform, so I can get the best outcome from our clinical goals that we have with our patients. But also, with regards to being physically active during the day, I'm not at a desk all day long. I'm on my feet all day long. I clock up easily 12 to 14,000 steps a day just being at work. And that's physically can be a little bit taxing on my feet, on my legs, on my back. And so I've got to make sure I look after myself. So that's a few things I'll do. And then, of course, I definitely want to be making sure that I block out time. Like today, I had planned to do a whole bunch of stuff, and things didn't always go to plan. And we ended up going to the supermarket for longer than we planned to. End up buying so much stuff, and I just took that as, well, yeah, that's cool. That's just a little bit of family time preparing to buy stuff for the week, so I don't have to be running out of food and doing an extra last minute shop in a week that I don't have to. It takes out time from my day. So those sort of things are important as well, just to make sure that I've got it right. So, it's like this it's really important to me, this saying, failing to prepare is preparing to fail. It's so true. And it makes me feel like, we just need to take some time. It's a little bit like, I always like to use, and I like to use the idea of a bow and arrow. And sometimes the arrow needs to get pulled back further away so that it can be launched further forward. And I take the weekends, or what I like to call strong ends. That's something from Jim Rohn, and I like to prepare for things in that sense. I also like to make sure that things that I didn't get done in the last week, that I will try and see where I can fit it in this week, because every week's not perfect. As much as I'd love for it to be, things aren't always great. And so I've got to make sure that, okay, what do I do? No, do I need to adjust it? Is that important? I like to use the ideas of, what's important and urgent compared to what's important and not urgent, compared to what's urgent and not important, and then what's not important and not urgent. That quadrant, if you guys have ever seen that, that's really cool. I love using that. and it really gets me focusing my attention and my goals of getting things. So feel free to write in the comments any questions you have, anything that I can help with, anything that I've used, or anything that you found that's been helpful and it would help me. I'd love to learn from you, and I'd be happy to take that on. But certainly there's a few things that I like to do, and I keep adapting and tweaking it. I think there isn't a perfect way to prepare. Sometimes I look at all these mentors and successful people around the world, and I think, oh man, what's their goal? What's their morning routine like? What's their evening routine like? What's their weekend routine like? And or strong end routine like? And sometimes you got to keep tweaking it and adapting it depending on what's going on, what goals you're trying to achieve. Sometimes, like this morning, did not go to plan at all for me. So I woke up a little bit later than I was planning to, and then suddenly I just Cornwall was awake, and I thought, well, I just want to hang out with her for a little bit and just dawdle about and just not really do much. And then I ended up calling members of our family and catching up with them on FaceTime. And then it ended up becoming like 10 or 11 o'clock, and I hadn't even gone for a run yet, where normally I've done my run by 6 a.m. And I was like, man, I haven't even done that yet. And so I was like, oh, I kept procrastinating. And I was like, looked at the weather and I was like, oh my gosh, it's going to rain in like an hour or so. So I need to go now because I'd rather run in the dry than the rain. And so things like that, I had to just find ways that would get me back on track, because I knew it was important for me to get my run done today. Because if I didn't do it today, one day becomes two, and suddenly two becomes a week, and then a week becomes a month. And before you know it, you haven't even done what you're meant to do. So I was like, man, it's first of the month, it's Sunday, I've got to go and just make this happen. And all the while I was like, and actually, funnily enough, I didn't sleep so well. We were up for a couple of hours in the middle of the night because there was some noise from the neighbors and we could hear all sorts of things outside. I thought, oh man, we're awake now. But I didn't let that affect me. And then sometimes, that's down to discipline. We have to learn to be disciplined and do things when we don't feel like doing, because they have to get done at some point. And whether you get them done to somebody else, that's important. But also, of course, I can't delegate my running to somebody else. So I have to do it myself. That's something that you have to get done. And so that was important that I learned that lesson. It changes your mindset. It switches things going, yeah, you know what? Even if it's late, better late than never. Better earlier than on time, I always believe. But, sometimes it doesn't go to plan. And, reflecting on things that have happened in the week. And one of the things that comes to mind is, patients or people I've met who just dabble, who just kind of, they think they've gone through certain things. They think they know the answers, and they seek our help initially, but don't quite take on board everything, and then don't get the results. And I'm like, man, I wish you just knew that we could have prevented this from the beginning. We could have prepared for this beforehand. And actually, why don't we prepare for it not to get even worse the next time round? And so I take on lessons from all of my patients and all of my team. And I was telling my team last week, I said, you know what? It's great to be part of an awesome team, an awesome culture, and we do amazing work. But there, like with anything, there's going to be times when it doesn't go to plan. And I think that's the character and strength of a culture, is not when things are going right, but when things are going wrong. How does it work? How do the team come together? How do you handle it yourself? And that's really important to know and learn and be around an environment, because environment dictates performance. We know this. And it's so important that I do that. And so I have to, as a leader in our team, a leader for my patients, I have to do so much more to make sure that I step up and be prepared for everything. I've got to create a huge buffer for myself so that I can protect my own health and mental health and goals. But also I've got to be, I'm a family man. I like to be with my family. I like to be around my team. I like to help them. There's nothing that excites me more than seeing people achieve their goals. That's like my number one thing. I love doing that. And I love going in and just problem solving as soon as things like that happen. And so, sometimes it's so funny because the advice that you should take because you give it. And it got me thinking about a concept where we think we should practice what we preach, but I think we should flip that on its head and actually preach what we practice, because that makes it so much more authentic, I think. And certainly that's how I live my life. I don't preach something that I don't know. I'll preach what I do, what I practice, what I put into reality. And it's most of the time, hey, it's pretty cool. It works. But oh my gosh, there's good times, a good number of times it doesn't work. And I just think you just got to keep going. You just got to keep trying it out and giving it a go. So my weekend, and I've still got to finish preparing a few more things. I'm going to prepare my lemon water. I get some lemon juice, get fresh lemons, blend it all up. I started actually adding ginger to it now. I think it's really cool. And then I just freeze them in ice trays. So when you wake up in the morning, first thing I do is get a glass of water like this, put that lemon ice cube or lemon and ginger ice cube in there. Boom, straight away, you start the day with a fresh, nutrient-rich drink, and just floods your system, cleanse your system from the inside, and you feel like you already start the day making the right decisions. I did that with the lemon and ginger last week, and oh man, everyone loved it. So I'm going to definitely create some more of that too. So things like that are really important to do that. So make sure you take some time to prepare for your week ahead, but start by reflecting on the week you've had so you can get a little bit better. You don't have to get hugely better, don't have to do massive things. Just do a little bit more this week, this coming week, than you did the week that's just gone. And that very quickly gets into such an addictive success winning mindset that it becomes very easy to then start doing that. The more you do that, the easier it gets. And I can't wait till tomorrow morning. First thing I do on a Monday morning is I grab my phone as soon as I wake up. I don't even get out of bed. I'll check my emails because I'm looking out for the emails that my team will be sending me about what their goals are for the coming week. And it's not just about their work-related goals. We actually want to know about what their personal goals are so that we can support them, whether it's they've got a family member's special event to celebrate, or if it's something personal, like what recently one of our team wasn't drinking enough water and they felt it. So like, oh my gosh, my goal is to ensure I drink loads of water. So every time I pass them, like, hey, have you had water? Hey, have you had water? And it's like cool like that. It's actually quite fun. So I hope that's been useful for you. And if you've got any questions, please do put them in the comments below, or DM me or ping me over on Twitter. I'd love to hear from you. And I'm looking to come on live a little bit more frequently like this, so you'll see a little more of me and a few more things I can help share from what I've been doing, my struggles, my wins, all those sort of things. And that kind of rhymed. That's pretty cool. I like that. I might have to create that into a little tagline. But I hope you have an amazing week. Hope you've learned something that you can take on board. And I wish you all the best. Have a great week.